Last season, after Arsenal's 2-2 draw with Manchester City at the Etihad, Arsenal was accused of all sorts of things. Packing the balls, not wanting to play. There was nothing that was not leveled against Arsenal Football Club, particularly from Bernardo Silva. Wow, guys, yesterday saw the worst of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. I've never seen such Manchester City in my entire life. These guys refuse to play. Unfortunately for us, and fortunately for them, Arteta's fear continued to haunt us. We gave them a goal. We gave them one goal, and that was it. They refused to play. They did all sorts of gimmicks, all sorts of drama to hang on to one goal. Well, credit to Arsenal Football Club for bringing out the worst in Pep Guardiola. He broke every negative record in his footballing coaching career. At the Emirates yesterday over the game, it was terrible to watch such performance from them. And according to him, he had to defend because he felt Arsenal was a better team. Guardiola fielded five defenders. Every defending whatever he had on his bench were on the pitch. That was how fearful Guardiola was of Arsenal Football Club and Mikel Arteta, and Arteta himself could not see it. And it brings me to the big question I have today for you guys. Why is Arteta afraid to make us champions? Why is he afraid to make us champions? We went to Liverpool, he couldn't allow the boys to play. He couldn't allow the boys to express themselves, despite the bad selection that he started with. We ended up losing the game either way. We ended up losing the game anyhow. Why would Arteta be approaching big games with the point of view of getting a draw instead of going to win? Because when you don't win, you end up settling for a draw. But when you go for a draw, you end up losing. It's just a simple arithmetic. It's a simple psychology. Yesterday, immediately I saw our lineup, my shoulders went down because I knew that was a wrong lineup, particularly in the midfield and on the left side of the wings. I love Leandro Trossard 100%. I love Mikel Merino 100%. But they have their own strengths and weaknesses depending on the team you're playing. Mikel Arteta, of all persons, should be the person to understand that. Manchester City is not a team that is too robust and physical. It's a team that plays with the ball on their feet. Therefore, what we needed there was creativity, was absolute creativity. But it didn't happen. We don't have our captain, Martin Odegaard. He's out injured. But we have our little boy that's been doing very well. Ethan Nwaneri is there. Eberechi is there. Eberechi is not a left winger. We saw how he plays, that he used to play at Crystal Palace. They give him the freedom. They give him that the creative freedom to roam, to create moments. He scores from anywhere. Most of his goals comes from outside the box. He's that good. Then you put him on the bench. We know Trossard is an impact player that when he comes in as a substitute, he performs. So why keep Eberechi is on the bench. The one that I couldn't understand is Bukayo Saka. Yeah, my son told me, look, Dad, he's just coming back from an injury. Yeah, but he trained with them. He trained with them. You know, he was fit for the game. That was why he came. That was why he was included in the lineup. Then you kept him on the bench. You could see what happened, and immediately after the two players came in the second half, everything changed. Because the fans were not happy. The fans were shocked at Arteta's game plan. The same mistake he made against Liverpool, he committed again yesterday. We will often complain. We don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this, we don't have that. Kroenkes and Arteta ensuring that whatever Arteta needs, Arteta gets. To me, he remains the luckiest coach in the Premiership. He's the most supported. He's everything Arteta wants, he gets. So the only thing the biggest problem Arteta has is Mikel Arteta himself. He needs to be courageous enough to go there and take Arsenal Football Club over the line. He's got everything that is like the bigger the team gets, the smaller Arteta himself becomes. Same old story. We have a striker that is known to be very, very deadly, that scores goals for fun. But on most occasions, we won't see him. I'm not going to blame Arteta that much. But they're supposed to realize what his strengths are and find ways to utilize it. And in the last game he played alongside Eberechi, you saw the way he performed. They are beginning to build that chemistry. Then why not let that continue? Why not let that continue? You keep buying players all over the place, but you're not using them accordingly. You're not using them well. Then what is the essence of buying them? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I refuse to blame anybody. I refuse to blame any player. I'm not going to blame Gyökeres. Yes, he's not a ball hustler. He's like a player that, to me, is like our Mesut Ozil. You know, very creative, very everything, but will not go to fight enough for the team. Maybe that's the way he is. You know, unlike Havertz that will put himself on the line. Havertz that carries the ball, that shields the ball, that fights for the ball. The only problem Havertz has is positioning and not scoring enough. Apart from that, is much more, for me, is much more reliable than the Gyökeres I'm seeing presently. You know, I don't understand. I don't know what you guys think or what you feel, but those are the things I learned from the game that I watched. Those are things I learned from the game that I watched. And it's a pity. We've dropped 5 points because of Arteta's tactical mistakes. And those mistakes are from lack of confidence. He needs to go out there and prove himself. He needs to realize that, look, if I'm going for a win, if I can't get it, I'll settle for a draw. Instead of going for a draw and hoping for a win. Because if you're going for a draw and hoping for a win, you end up losing. But if you're going for a win and it doesn't come, you end up getting a draw. You have the best defense in the Premiership, one of the best defense in the world. What are you afraid of? Who scores the goals? Who scores the goals? What you need to focus on the midfield and ensuring that the midfield and your front line works very well. That the coordination is there, because your defense is locked. The goal Manchester City got yesterday, if you realize how it came, all our defenders were running back. All of them were running back because they were there in the midfield to help. Because the midfield lacked mobility. There was no mobility. There was no creativity at all in the first half. And the fans felt it immediately in the second half when Eberechi and Bukayo Saka was introduced. It was like switching on the light. It was like switching on the light. Then later in the game, Martinelli, you could see what happened. They ended up getting us an equalizer. That was despite everything that Pep Guardiola did to make sure that Arsenal didn't score. You know, we saw the worst of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. We saw the worst of Pep Guardiola in his entire coaching career yesterday. Only to get a draw. That shows you how valuable Arsenal Football Club has become. What Liverpool? The coach will never settle for a draw. He's never happy with a draw. He wants to win. That is the mentality of a champion. He wants to win. Arteta needs to evolve that mentality, that championship mentality. When you play them, don't go being afraid. Attack them. We beat them 5-1 last season. On the other two previous occasions, we performed. Even when we lost 3-1, we were happy that we played and still lost 3-1 2 or 3 seasons ago. When we didn't have players, you were confident enough to go out there and play. You know, guys, I'm not angry. I'm just being emotional, as an Arsenal Football Club supporter. And I'm not alone in this. Honestly, I'm not alone in this. Okay, hear what Thierry Henry said. At the beginning of the season. The expectations that has been mounting or has mounted since the transfer window came and what we did during the transfer window, where we are supposed to be. This is not the time for mistakes. I will leave it there, guys. Please, like I said earlier, subscribe if you haven't, and press the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when we release our next video. And let's discuss this issue because it's very, very important. Guys, here Thierry Henry. Sharp.
If you're a competitor, and we're talking about Arsenal Football Club, I don't care what people say, this is Arsenal Football Club. And I said it, for the last 5 years, we didn't play a final when Man United played 5. Do I think that Mikel Arteta is doing a great job? A tremendous job. Do I think he should get the sack? Hell no. Am I going to think that we're going to win the league this year? Yes. Do I think that we can win the league? Yeah, I do think so, but I'm not in the dressing room.